I think we're going to see what everyone wants to see. Hello and welcome back to the Let's Talk Racing YouTube channel in association with Racing TV. We apologise that there wasn't a video yesterday, but there is a video now, and that's because we wanted to wait for declarations on Cheltenham Trials Day. What a good day of racing it is.
Oh, it's fantastic days racing, Josh. Really looking forward to it. And I think this year, more than many years of the past, I'm just looking at all the races and they're competitive. We've got good horses. We've got Irish Raiders. What more do you want?
Irish Raiders and plenty of Cheltenham clues. The fact that we've got the best British juvenile turning up, say, in the first race, which we'll talk about, is exciting. We need horses to be running in these good races and races that have notoriously produced Cheltenham Festival winners.
Definitely, and I think just in the last couple of years there's been times, not last year perhaps, but before that, where Trials Day has ceased to be a Trials Day, really. It hasn't had those types of races. But as you say, you just look at the first race, not only have you got the best British juvenile, probably running against the second best British juvenile, we'll get our answers. And to be honest, it looks like a day's racing. It's not quite as good as a day's racing you'd get at the Dublin Racing Festival, but it's that type of ilk where we'll get answers.
I cannot wait for Leopardstown the following weekend. Cannot wait to go over there. First of all, if you do enjoy the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and do get your naps down below. Really looking forward to firing through all 8 races on Trials Day at Cheltenham. But before, we've got news. And the news is, on Thursday the 7th of March, it's the first announced preview night for both of us.
Yeah.
We did it last year in Birmingham, different venue this time, but the same organisers, and I'm looking forward to going back.
I can't wait. You know, it was fantastic last year. We had a great time. Loads of people turned up, which was fantastic. If we get the same again, and hopefully we will, it'll be very enjoyable.
Yeah, really looking forward to doing that. It's at Scanlon's Club in Birmingham. Doors open at 7 p.m. Tickets are £12, and all the info about booking will be in the description below this video. If you do want to come over and you do want to come, it'd be a great night. We really enjoyed it last year, and hopefully you do come. And plenty of things, possible giveaways as well. The likes of the books, the guides that come out, and hopefully we can bring along some of those for you. But let's fire on through this. The first race at Cheltenham is the 12:05 JCB Triumph Hurdle Trial. I love that. Grade 2.
How much have you been waiting to say that title?
I just, for some reason, the one, like, the voice I can kind of do, this commentator voice, it's just the only race I can do it with that race.
It is the starter's orders, man.
It's the and they're off in the JCB Triumph Hurdle Trial. Anyway, we've got Burdett Road in there 11 to 10, Sergino in there 13 to 8, Milantino's third favourite at 9 to 1. How do you see this? Because these are the two highest profile British juveniles. Something could come out the woodwork, we don't know, but at the moment these two lead the way. They're coming up against each other at Cheltenham. Burdett Road's obviously won there before. Sergino was very good at Kempton, but the form looks brilliant. Where do you sit?
Well, I would be very shocked if it isn't one of the two of them. I don't think there'll be anything from left field in this race personally. I think a few of them in behind will be looking for bootless marks potentially. I've sided with Burdett Road myself. I wasn't keen on him going into the November meeting, but I was blown away by what he did. Even though he jumped poorly, he was keen. He just possessed a turn of foot that you rarely see in jumps racing. It was a flat turn of foot. And I think both of these horses are very, very good. I think they're both riddled with ability. I don't think either of them are the finished article. I think they both do things wrong based off what we've seen so far. I'm just taking the view that Burdett Road is the quicker horse, and potentially one more run over hurdles could stand him in better stead than Sergino. Wouldn't be surprised if Sergino was to win, but I'm siding with Burdett Road.
I think it's an interesting one because James Bowen takes the ride on Sergino. We probably would have expected Nico de Boinville to ride, but he's not riding this weekend. I think Harry Compton might be slightly more confident with Burdett Road as well, as in ride him a little bit more prominently. It's interesting. The one thing I would say about Burdett Road is I was blown away. I remember us both in the stands at Cheltenham after that race kind of looking at each other going, my goodness, what have we just seen? I don't think the form's all that. I know the second on Braden Fasher has gone and won on his next start, but I don't think he was great. And maybe you almost need to not look at the form, but I don't know. I think Sergino, if you're looking at pure from a form point of view, the French one looks good. He beat Salvador Mundi, who's hyped up with Willie Mullins, and at Kempton, the second went on and won by 17 lengths on his second start, and the third went and won by 26 lengths. I know this isn't graded races, but these are like, it's good form.
Oh no, it's good form in terms of horses have won in behind and all that, but it's just, I think at this stage of their careers, I wouldn't really be looking at correlation form lines personally. Like on Bradon Fassa, I'd agree with you. I don't think he's massively brilliant or anything like that. He's probably a 120, 125 horse at best. Thing is, like, everyone's going to hype up the Sergino form line. Like, the horse that won, that came second, he won around Huntington a few weeks ago. Like, I could have come second in that race. It was the worst race on planet Earth. Like, so it's hard to know. Like, I think you can overlook into these races. I think you can underlook into them. I just think we will know. I know it's so easy to say it now, but this is actually the first test for the two of them. And I'm just siding with Burdett Road myself, just on the fact he's been to Cheltenham. He has had one more run over hurdles over here. I just think he has a little bit of an edge.
I'm team Sergino for me. The 12:40, 2.5 mile time for Novices Handicap Chase. Good race. I wish they still had a race like this at the Cheltenham Festival, because that was a superb race. Anything in this that tickled your pickle?
Yeah, I thought there was one of the price. It's a good race, this, though, I must say. Some proper horses in this, Ginny's Destiny. I've always been a big fan of Blow Your Wad. I wonder whether his race was, though, that Kempton race. Not sure he's going to really appreciate Cheltenham. I thought the one to take at an each way price was Tighten Your Belts for Emma Lavelle. Won on Novice Handicap debut at the start of the season at Ludlow. Has then been subsequently beaten by Hermes Alain and Nickelback in the Grade 2 at Newbury. That's not bad form at all.
Ile Francais in the Courteau Star.
And then Ile Francais, well, fair enough. He's clearly not that type of horse. He's off 138 here. This is a lot more like his bag. I just think back to 2.5 miles will suit. Back to Novice Handicap Company will suit. I think there's an awful lot to like, and he's around that 8-1 mark.
My nap of the day comes in this race. And that is Alan King's Es Perfecto, 15-2. Now, on his first run, he finished second to Ginny's Destiny, and there was £9 between them in the weights on that day. It was his first run of the season. I'll forgive him for getting a little bit tired up the hill, but still finished second. It was a good run. Now there's £24 between them. I think he's well handicapped. He's gone down £1. He finished 3 or 4 lengths behind Blow Your Wad at Kempton. He's only improved this season. I don't understand why he has dropped £1, and I think this is a perfect race for him.
Are we slightly overlooking Ginny's Destiny just based off the fact that I remember being here last year, and I'm not saying he'll turn into winning the Turners or anything like that, but Stage Star had a very similar profile, and we just went, no, he's top weight, he's carrying a lot of weight, but he's an improving horse.
He is improving. The one thing I would say is when he won at Cheltenham on his last start, he beat Grey Dawning. I know on paper that form looks really good, but I think Grey Dawning should have won. Yes. I think if he hadn't missed the second last, I think he'd have won. If he was ridden more aggressively, he'd have won. I'm not sure he was the best horse in that race, and therefore having the one next to him and going up the weight, possibly.
Well, I think also the time that we saw him win, even at the November meeting, that John Joe horse was a Cribilli, was tanking into the race at 2. Hard to know, obviously still a long way from home at that stage, but that could have been slightly fortuitous as well. I was just playing devil's advocate.
For me,
pressing the buttons.
Es Perfecto, 15-2, nap of the day. In a second, the 1:15, 2.5 mile Paddy Power Cheltenham Countdown podcast. Handicap Chase, the big competitive one. They all run up against each other all the time. Is there one in this that sticks out? Because it's quite difficult, isn't it? Because Il Ridoto, who ran a really good race when finishing second to Fugitive at the last Cheltenham meeting, turns up here. Harry Cobden back on. Where do we sit with him?
I think he's got a huge chance. Yeah, it wasn't a race I had an awfully inspired view on, to be honest. It's hard to get a handle on them, really. They all run against each other quite a lot of the time. I've just kind of Il Ridoto, considering at one stage of his career he was a bit of a bridle merchant, he's kind of turned into a remarkably consistent sort in these types of races. Cobden back on has to be a plus. I know he's 4-1, 9-2 favourite. It's not a great price or anything like that, but I think he's as likely a winner as anything.
What I was really impressed with is last season when he won at this meeting, he had to be ridden a certain way, where Bryony just booked out in front at Cheltenham and went really well and went really close and was beaten by a horse who's now running in a Grade 1 in Fugitive. So that form could look really good.
Yeah, I think it could, and I think he would have won the race as well if it wasn't for the fact that Frero Bamboo really hassled him on the sharp end. Like, they ended up getting racing a long way out, and that probably softened him up ever so slightly. But I just think I think he's getting more versatile. He's certainly a lot more consistent than he used to be, and I see no world where he runs a bad race.
I'm going to take him on with Garlaw off 150, 11 to 1. I think it's a decent each way price. I think classy horses do tend to win these types of races, and the last time he was at Cheltenham, he finished 9 lengths behind Envoy Lens, so that looks pretty good form in the Ryanair. I think this is going to be a completely different kettle of fish. Things haven't gone right this season for him, but I think that we could see a much better Garlaw here. The following race comes at 150. It's the 3 mile 1 furlong Paddy Power Cotswold Chase Grade 2, and this is interesting because you've got Royal Pagaille in there, who's come off the back of beating Brave Man's Game. You've got a Hoisinor who won the race last year, a few others in there, but the main talking point is possibly the Novice Stay Away Faye. 3 to 1, a good price, 100 to 30.
Yeah, I think he could be. Look, he's got it to prove. You know, you've got proper open Grade 1 horses here, and you know, Hoisinor was very good in this race last year. He's been uninspired this season. Royal Pagaille, has he ever really shown his best form around Cheltenham?
No, I don't think so.
I would struggle to believe that. I think he wants a slightly flatter track myself. He's excelled at the likes of Haydock, even at Kempton before in handicap company. People will know I very, very much like this horse, Stay Away Faye. This horse was actually the topic of my biggest talking point of this day last year when good old Max beat him in the River Dawn. But he has not looked back since then. He's looked good over fences in his first 2 starts. You know he's going to stay well. And I just think, why is Paul doing this if he doesn't believe he's going to win?
I think he'll win. I really do. I'm all over him at 100 to 30. The race is full of horses who, if they put a performance that they've shown before, they could win the race. But Hoisinor hasn't done it at all this season. Royal Pagaille, I don't think is that top notch. I know he beat Brave Man's Game, but I think we know his limits.
They're very good Grade 2 horses.
Yeah, and I think the tricky thing is, if you're looking towards Cheltenham, if Stay Away Faye was to get beat a couple of lengths, would it be a good run? It would be a good run. Kind of, maybe?
Depends on circumstance, I think, really. I would like to see him win, and I think if he wins this, I don't see a world where he gets beaten the RSA.
No, I agree. Stay Away Faye for me at 100 to 30. At the Clarence House, John Bon.
Yeah, it's going to be another Spears round. I've seen him do it twice now this year. I was at the Schlur and the Tingle Creek, and I'm going to see it again on Saturday. It's a box-ticking exercise for him, really, and you'd like to see just another clean round. I'm sure Editor de Jeet will give him a better race this time round than he did in November time, but he's well off him on ratings, really.
Yeah, I agree. John Bon should be getting the job done, but the price reflects that. The third last race is the Unibet Hurdle. The Bula has changed. The first time it's been held at this meeting, and it's provided a good field. Lossiemouth comes over, the first start that she's made since the Triumph Hurdle.
Also, you know the way you're calling it...
Or did she go to Punchestown?
No, she went to Punchestown, yeah, and won there. But also, you seem obsessed with calling it the Bula Hurdle. Is it actually called that these days? Or are you just trying to act shrewd because it was named that in 2002?
I think it is the Bula. I think that's like almost the
Baring Bingham sort of stuff. Yeah. You're just sounding that's like me saying next week's Handicap Hurdle the DRF is the Pierce Hurdle. It was the Pierce Hurdle in 1986.
I don't know, it's just always...
Valeramix won the Bula Hurdle. That was in 2003.
Lossiemouth 5 to 6 favourite, carrying 11 stone 3. Lossiemouth are going to have to give L'Envoi £2, and L'Envoi's had the run, but is she a 2 miler? She's 11 to 4, and then Roubaud in there 5 to 1, having to give L'Envoi £9, Lossiemouth 7. Tricky task. Where do you sit?
Tough race, this. Can't really get my head round it. I think Lossiemouth has it in her favour in terms of, I think this trip will suit her more than L'Envoi. Townend's over to ride. He had a number of good rides he could have had over Saturday. He could have gone up and ridden either Ashrow Diamond or Gala Marceau. He could have stayed at home and had Jay de Grugy in the Solarine. He's gone for Lossiemouth. I think she probably will win. To be honest, I think she'll be well forward enough. L'Envoi, I get the impression with Harry Fry, ever since she had a little bit of a niggle at the start of the season, I think it's just march backwards with her. She looked completely ring rusty in the rearrange fighting 5th when finishing 2nd. She might come forward for that, but she would need to. And Roubaud, he's a funny one. He could be the lurker, but it just seems kind of unjust almost that he has to give so much weight away.
Yeah, I know, but then he finished 9 lengths behind Constitution Hill. It's one of those, if he was to go and win, it wouldn't be surprising at all, because if you're actually looking through it, Lossiemouth, this is the first run of the season, so she might need the run. Love Envoi, don't think it's a 2-miler. The actual 2-miler in there is Robot, but he's got to give them the weight.
Yeah, I think you'd back Robot if they were off level weights, potentially, given the circumstances, but...
I think I might take the risk at the price at 5-1, Robot.
Maybe. It'll probably be a race I'll be sitting out, to be honest.
The penultimate race is the 3-mile McCoy Contractors Cleeve Hurdle Grade 2. I think we're going to see what everyone wants to see, and Paisley Park goes and does it. 2 great runs this season. Dashel Drash has been to the well. Paisley Park finished a good second to Crambo Ascot, and I just think that his form is standout. Noble Yates is in there. I know people are backing him and picking him up on Twitter. I can't have him personally. So I think this is possibly the day that Paisley strikes.
Yeah, I must confess, I've gone on a complete U-turn with Paisley Park. You'll know as well as anyone I wasn't the horse's biggest
You
fan.
weren't, no.
But I've had a complete...
You gave him a stroke
Yeah,
once,
you
and-
used to do this a year or two ago where you'd name drop that you went to Nichols and you gave Brave Man's Game a pat on the head and suddenly everything felt different. I did see Paisley Park in September time with work, and he was a legend and a very nice horse, and he seemed to like the Blair White way, so therefore I've enjoyed him this season. He's ran 2 remarkably good races. What I can't understand is he's obviously getting old as anything, but he's near on travelling as sweetly as he's ever done. Which makes no sense in my mind, but I think he takes all the beating in this race. Noble Yates, as you say, I can't have it all in a 3-mile hurdle race. Dashel Drasher will run his consistent race. Champ is just as old as Paisley Park. There's nobody coming from left field, I don't believe. 11-4, I think, was a good price.
In the Grade 2 2.5-mile Novices hurdle, Gidley Park 5-4. I've been really impressed with him. Johnny Hew in there, second favourite. I personally think the favourite is going to go and win well.
Yeah, I think so. I've been kind of trying to take... I was going into this race thinking I might try to take him on, but I've nothing to do it with. I want to take on horses that ran in that shallow. I think it was a tough race. And Johnny Hew looked slow enough as well during that, I felt. I think this horse is the standout form. And the greatest thing about this horse is this has been the target ever since he won at Newbury first week of December.
Very quickly, we've had a bit of news this week. Allaho out, and also the French horse Thelem out with the Stayers hurdle. Reaction?
Yeah, disappointing on both counts. Thelem wasn't a horse I knew much or anything about, really. I won't tell any lies in that regard, but seemed to come with a tall reputation and would have added a bit of spice to the Stayers hurdle division, which unfortunately, sometimes needs it. Actually, this year looks a bit better than usual. And Allaho, yeah, disappointing, but unfortunately that's just the way it is. And of course, we've got the news there this evening that Gemma and Andrew Brown of Caldwell Construction are selling up. Are we going to have a whip round and try buying firm footings this year?
Shall we put together a syndicate where we can all put money into, and
I've got 20 quid.
Yeah.
How much do you have?
I reckon I could scrumple up a tenner.
Okay.
We're going to buy Phil Dorr?
Yeah.
Because he's the anti-post.
No, the anti-post pick?
Yeah, I think it might be us and Higginstown.
Maybe if we ask for our slip to be like counted as the winnings have already been collected.
Yeah.
Like a credit slip.
Yeah.
And they might give it to us.
I agree. So we're going to have to put all of these in an ACCA. How about that? How about we put all of these in an ACCA for...
Safarer for the plate.
No. As in...
Oh, all these horses?
All of the horses we put up today, 20 quid, and when we get 8 out of 8, one of us does, we can then go out and buy Phil Dorr.
It's really a very easy game.
It is. Let me know if you want to get involved in a Let's Talk Racing Syndicate, and we're going to buy Coldwell Potter as the first horse. What a way to start. Before we do go, we are going to have a quick round of best bets. I've got 3. Perfecto would be my nap, and then the other 2 would be Ashra Diamond at Doncaster. I think she will go and win at 13-8, and then Welcome to Cartrees in the River Don as well at 3-1. Both favourite, but I just think they'll both be really difficult to beat.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm going to take you on in the River Don like I did last year with Kerry Hill for Ruth Jefferson. I think he's got a chance at 8-1 each way. Like a Paul Nolan horse, would you believe it, at Fairyhouse on Saturday. Very unlike me. Give him the honour in the Adair Manor 3-mile handicap hurdle. Liam McKenna takes the ride, eye-catching third last time out. But my nap comes in the Cotswold Chase, and it's big. Stay away. Fair.
There we go. We hope he does go and win. LTR Ultra video this week. We'll be reacting to all of that news. We do hope you enjoy that. We'll see you soon.